This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers Report on this Tuesday morning. Seth Merrill from EquiDaily.com, Mike Jarbo from the Times-Union, and also otherwise known as the Weather Voodoo.
Can you believe it? It's just unbelievable.
We say that because Mike was scheduled, as he is every Tuesday, to do Parks, and Parks has canceled. Beulah is canceled for today. Monticello is canceled for today. And later on tonight, Northfield is canceled as well with the cold weather up here in this part of the country. The polar vortex, as we're being told this year. But those tracks have canceled. Mike has shifted his attention. He'll take a look at Sam Houston. Although, as you emailed me last night, Mike, we got to keep our fingers crossed there, too.
I cannot believe this. I looked at the weather forecast for Sam Houston Park for today, and it said 33 degrees and an ice storm. And then if you look at the advanced forecast for Houston, it says by the end of the week it'll be 75 degrees. So I don't know. Maybe I am a curse.
I have been doing the Handicappers Report in some incarnation for a number of years now, and I don't know a string of cancellations tied to one guy like you've had over the past 7 or 8 weeks. It's crazy. That said, you've been focused on Parks on these Tuesdays, and they've just had a rotten string.
They've had all sorts of bad fortune there this year, and you know, besides the bettors and the horsemen, you have to think about the employees there, the janitors, the mutual clerks. This is lost income for a lot of them. Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And so again, we'll shift over to Sam Houston and take a look there. Keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, it's you know, if you've got some family event, some event, like let's say a spouse's family reunion you don't want to go to, give Mike a call and he will make sure that there will be a weather cancellation coming up. And we're forbidding Mike to talk about the Super Bowl at all in the show. So don't bring that up. They're in enough trouble, I think, already. So do not talk about them whatsoever. But again, we will look at Sam Houston. I'll take a look at Turf Paradise a little later on. And Mike, going back to the weekend, it was a nice weekend of racing around the country. Plenty of good action, really. But I think the highlight was the Holy Bull Cairo Prince.
Absolutely.
Coming out of that Remsen, which was a little quirky because of the pace. Honor Code just gets Cairo Prince. And we came out of that thinking, you know, those both looked like nice horses, no question about it. But the Remsen was so quirky, we were kind of wondering what did that race really mean, and I think Cairo Prince certainly validated that over the weekend, flattered Honor Code, and looked very good himself.
Absolutely stepped up in this race, did a good job.
And no question about it. And the subsequent Derby polls that have come out, Cairo Prince is right up there, and I think as they filter out during the week, won't be any lower than number 3, I'm imagining. But as I say, also flattered Honor Code, who took a lot of action. The one poll I look at is the Courier Journal poll, which came out with their inaugural edition over the weekend, and Honor Code Cairo Prince certainly high up the list. So coming out of New York, a couple of horses coming out of New York originally. Obviously, the weekend race was down in Florida, but with Kieran McLaughlin and Shug McGahee, these are New York-based connections, certainly, and we'll have them to root for. At least the early part of the Derby Trail, you always got to keep your fingers crossed there are no dings, and what we've seen with Shared Belief, that is always possible. But again, some New York connections, certainly with strong candidates.
Wait till you see the weather I'm going to bring to Louisville this year.
We will, and that week before, again, we will not allow you to talk Kentucky Derby at all. You also mentioned, as we were talking before the show, you brought up an article in the Racing Forum that came out last week, and I had it in my pile to talk about on Racing Across America, and I just never got to it. Kind of a fun article by Dave Tully. Talks about the ROI Awards, which are essentially his own creation, but it's in contrast to the Eclipse Awards. The Eclipse Awards are handed out for, obviously, horses that are the best performers during the year in their particular divisions. But Dave Tully comes out with the ROI Awards, looking at those top-level performers, top-level stakes performers, and coming up with the most important part, how much money they made. It's a really fun exercise and a great column by Dave Tully.
It was fascinating because, after all, for the player, this game is about making money while wagering. And the article points out that Wise Dan, Horse of the Year, well-deserved, the ROI with Wise Dam was puny. You know, he was bet hard every race and deserved to be. But you weren't making a lot of money betting Wise Dan. The ROI Horse of the Year, he says, goes to Sahara Sky, whose ROI was $17.85, which is more than the combined win payoffs for every race Wise Dan ran. So that's a pretty good stat.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was with only 4 races, and so Sierra Sky gets the tip of the cap there. You also mentioned one of the other ones was Princess of Silmar, and hers is a little skewed because, and you don't see this normally when you're talking those top-level stakes performers, but the
Right.
crazy price of the Oaks
Yes,
knocked it out of the park.
what was it, $79 in the Oaks, and that caused the her win payoffs to be $101.50 in 11 starts for an ROI of $9.23. Not too shabby.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
too shabby at all.
When you're talking about, again, at that highest level of the game.
Absolutely.
So again, it's a fun article. You can look it up. It came out just a little less than a week ago in the Daily Racing Forum by Dave Tully. It's titled Money Talks at the ROI Awards, but you can probably go to our Daily Racing Forum, and up in the search box, if you type in Tully, T-U-L-E-Y, you can bring that up. It's kind of fun. Again, eclipses, best performances, but maybe more importantly, the ROI. And so it's good to parse that out and get a look at which performers did well on the racetrack.
Is there any clips for weather? Can I get
Yeah,
that?
well, you may be, you're in
Any
the
clips
run.
for
Yeah,
precipitation?
in fact, I was going to say you're in the running. It's closed. We're not even out of January, and I'm already giving you the 2014 weather voodoo eclipse. But we will, as noted, shift our attention to Sam Houston as Parks has canceled for this afternoon. Again, Monticello, Beulah, and Northfield. Oh, and before we get to the handicapping, I do want to remind folks, if you're a boxing fan, Clubhouse Racebook this evening is the monthly boxing show down here, amateur boxing. It was scheduled for a week ago yesterday. It was moved to tonight, so keep that in mind if you're a boxing fan, and they've done it monthly for, the past 3 or 4 months now. There's been a good reception. So tonight, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. I believe starting time is right around 7 o'clock. So again, amateur boxing down here at the Clubhouse Racebook.
I got down here early to the studio, looked at the setup they have. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah, that's just it. You are
Boy,
up
it's
close
really
and
good.
personal to the action, no question about it. And as I say, I know there's been a good response over the first few months that has been done. It's typically once a month over the past few months. And so, yeah, if you're a boxing fan at all, amateur boxers out here and putting on a good show. Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. That's tonight. All right, let's shift our attention now down to Sam Houston for this Tuesday afternoon. Their opener is a maiden special. These are fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. They will go 5.5.
I'm going to go 3-6-4 in here. My top pick is Lori Lou, who last race ran in the stakes and did put in an okay performance. But if you look at the races 2 back, running in maiden specials, had a narrow defeat in one of them and ran erratically in both those races. I think with a better trip, you're going to see a really good performance from this horse. I don't think you're going to get that much of a price, but I think Lori Lou looks like a pretty good bet in this race. In the second spot, we're going to go to the 6, RB Dixie Diva, who hopes to catch a fast track today. I don't know with the way the weather looks there, but last out was sent off at 5-2 and drifted out late, and has caught slop in both of her races. So maybe a fast track will be the ticket for this one. And in the third spot, we're going to go to the 4, Kaylee's Hot Tonight, who raced on the lead in her last start, showed improved speed, and is one of the few other ones in here with any form to show at all. So we're going to see Kaylee's Hot Tonight in the third spot, and we're going to make it 3-6-4 in the first at Sam Houston.
Sounds good. Race number 2 at Sam Houston this afternoon is a claiming event, $7,500 tags, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, 1 1/16 miles.
3, 5, and 1 in this race. In the top spot, we're going to go to the 3, Aphrodita. Now, Aphrodita, last 2 races has showed greatly improved speed, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of other early lick in this race. So I'm seeing this horse as getting the lead and being gone. So we're going to put Aphrodite on top, and this one's going off, as a matter of fact, off a claim. So was claimed from Steve Asmussen, is in a pretty good barn now. And with First Samurai as a sire, has shown pretty good speed in the last few races. And I'm going to see this one going all the way on the lead. So we'll put the 3 on top. In the second spot, we have the 5 World Cup, who is 1 for 2 in the Houston main track, has been running on turf. Was running on turf up until a couple months ago. They made the switch to dirt, and the dirt performances have been okay. So this one just passed a few tired horses last time, but I'm seeing an improved performance from World Cup in this race. And we're going to go to the inside for the 3rd spot with Kipling's Redbird, who ran a good race 2 back. We had a 4-length score in that. The wheels came off last time out, but it's funny, the running line says retreat in a 10-horse field.
That's not good.
No, retreat doesn't sound very good. It sounds like Santa Ana or something. But we're gonna see Kipling's Redbird in the 3rd spot, and that makes it 3-5-1 in the 2nd at Sam Houston.
3rd race this afternoon. Looks like a fun little maiden claimer. $10,000 tags. These are 3-year-olds. They'll go a quick 5.5.
Well, it'll be fun if there's no ice storm anyway. Let's see, 7, 4, and 3 in here. We're going to go Sarah's Lad on top. This one has been bet hard in both of his starts. And last out was finished 3rd, beaten 10 lengths by the 2nd place finisher. And I don't know. Gets venue class relief today, I think, as you like to say, Seth. So we're going to see this an improved performance from Sarah's Lad today, I think. In the 2nd spot, we're going to go to the 4, Ready to Start, who takes a class drop and had a little bit of a wide journey in his debut. Maybe he can get a better spot today on the class drop. So Ready to Start 2nd, and in the 3rd spot, we're going to go with the 3, Best Event, who has a good work for return from an October layoff, and was bet pretty well in the debut. And the debut wasn't bad, beaten 6.5 lengths in a pretty good time. So we are going 7-4-3 in the 3rd at Sam Houston.
4th race today is State Breds. These are Texas bred maiden specials. These are 3-year-olds, and they will go 3/4 mile.
7-2-3 for me in here. We're going to go to the outside to Bucking Thunder in the top spot, who last race was defeated 18 lengths in that debut, but had a world of trouble in that, was bumped at the break, was taken up, locusts, 3 wide, hail, who knows what, but had all kinds of trouble. Goes up in class today, but I think I think we'll get a good performance out of this one. In the 2nd spot, we're going to go to the 2, Internet Success. Internet Success was claimed out of his debut, and was bet pretty hard in that one too. And sometimes with a race like that, you have to take what the bettors are doing as being indicative of the horse's talent. Was beaten a length and a half in a pretty good effort. Has been away since September, and we'll put that one in the 2nd spot. In the 3rd spot, we're going to go to the 3, Cope with Seneca, who is the 2-1 morning line favorite, who showed improved speed in the last race and weakened on the front end, but I think with that experience might be able to have a little more staying power today. 7-2-3 in the 4th at Sam Houston.
5th at Sam this afternoon, a conditional claimer, $15,000 tags. Non-winners are 2 lifetime the condition. They're scheduled to go on the grass at 1 mile.
6-3-7 in this one. My top pick is L'air du Temps. I'm not sure how the French pronunciation is, but that sounds close enough to me. This one was floated wide in the last start, and cuts the tag a little bit in here and moves back to dirt after running on turf in the last one. And the change back to dirt might be a good thing in this case. So we'll take L'air du Temps on top. In the 2nd spot, we'll move to the 3, Miss Mulligan, who put in a good effort at a mile on the grass, and also, I don't know, after that good grass effort, I think can step up on the lawn today. So we'll put that one in the second spot. And for the third spot, we'll go to the 7 War of Ages, who put in a good race in the only turf start 2 back and moves back to the to turf from the artificial surface, going second off layoff, and should benefit from that. 6-3-7 in the 5th at Sam Houston.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll complete our look at Sam Houston for this afternoon. Stay tuned. I'm Seth Merrill. Join me weekdays at 10 for Racing Across America. We'll look at important races from around the country, get insight from top handicappers and analysts, and preview the upcoming week in racing. That's Racing Across America, weekdays at 10, right here on the OTB TV network.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Tuesday morning. Seth Merrow and Mike Jarbo, we have shifted our attention. Mike was scheduled to look at Parks. They've canceled for this afternoon. Beulah, Monticello, Northfield also canceled on this chilly day in a vast region of the country this afternoon. So instead, we're looking at Sam Houston. We'll continue with their race number 6. It's a state-bred maiden special race. These are 3-year-olds going 6 furlongs.
Going 2-1-5 in this race. My top pick is 10 to 1 on the morning line. My nephew, Joe. This one is by the mighty Datrick as a sire. I've never heard of Datrick, but the dam sire is Mr. Greeley, and that would indicate to me that this one should have some speed going for it. So we're going to take a shot that this one has enough speed to clear the field and keep going at a good price. So we're going to put the 2, My Nephew Joe, on top. In the second spot, we're going to the 1 on the inside, Added Expectation, who had a decent effort at 6.5 furlongs last out, made up a good amount of ground late, and really improved in that start. And also had trouble, was 3 wide, got bumped, and had some traffic problems in that, and still put in a very good performance. So we'll look for Added Expectation to put in a good run in this one. In the third spot, we're going to go to the 5, Flying Expectation, who ran pretty evenly in the last start. And also, this one is by Valid Expectation, and if there is indeed precipitation in the mix there in Houston today, this could move this one up with that breeding. So we will go 2-1-5 in the 6th at Sam Houston.
7th today is a conditional claimer, $7,500 tags. Non-winners are 2 lifetime the condition. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, they will go a mile and a 16th.
1, 4, and 6. On top, we have River Rapids, who will get the inside trip today after being wide in in her last 4 starts. Caught slop 2 back, and the move to the rail I think could help this one. So we'll put River Rapids on top, maybe get a price at 8-1 on the morning line. In the second spot, we'll go to 7 Hunt Kids, the 4. Gets more ground today after closing a little bit last out, making up some ground late, and came from off the pace 2 back to win. So might get some kind of a setup today, and we'll put the 4 7 Hunt Kids in the second spot. For the third spot, we're going to Linda's Lucky Lady, the 6, who showed some interest in going long in a race 3 back. If you do a little archaeology there, you'll see that this one ran at a mile 3 races back and put in an okay effort. So maybe going long will be the right thing for this one today. 1-4-6 in the 7th at Sam Houston.
Sammy's 8th race today, a plain vanilla claimer at the $10,000 level. These are 4-year-olds and up, again scheduled for the grass at 1 mile and 16th, but as Mike noted earlier, they're expecting perhaps some freezing rain or whatnot, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled this afternoon to see if they do stay on the grass, but that is where they're aiming to go if the weather holds out.
7, 3, and 2 in this race. I'm going to take the 7, Live on the Edge, on top, by virtue of the fact that this one is a new shooter in this race. And sometimes you get these horses who face each other all the time, and you just say, please give me a new face in here to give me a little more guidance at who's going to get to the wire first. And so this is the new face in here. It was bet down to 5-2 in the last start. Finished second to a blowout winner. And when you lose by 10 lengths and it says a good try, that's indicative that it was a pretty good race. So we're going to take Live on the Edge on top. In the second spot, we will go to the 3, Seeking West, who didn't like the dirt, apparently, in the last start, and goes back to the turf today, and perhaps the move back to grass will be good for this one. Already has 3 wins at this distance on the grass. So Seeking West in the second spot. And in the third spot, we go to the 2, Unbridled Sheriff, who stalked a very slow pace last time and just couldn't get going late, couldn't get enough oomph after the slow pace to make up enough ground to make any real impact. So we'll try that one third. 7-3-2 in the 8th at Sam Houston.
9th this afternoon, a conditional claimer, $7,500 tags. Non-winners of 3 lifetime in the condition. These are 4-year-olds and up. Again, 5.5 furlongs.
9, 5, and 1 in this race. The Comanche Kid on top, who faltered second off the bench last out. Tried racing on the lead and just didn't. I guess was a little short of gas when the real running started. I think after 2 starts, usually to me the third race off the bench is the top of the form cycle. So I'm seeing this one putting in an improved performance today. Has been well bet in the last couple of starts too. So somebody's paying attention to this horse and is expecting good performances. So we're going to put the 9, Comanche Kid, on top. In the second spot, we're going to the 5, No Biz Like Horse Biz, who second off layoff today, may have needed one last time out, didn't put in much of an effort. The running line says roused at the 3/16, but there couldn't have been a lot of rousing because it lost 7 lengths in the late part of the race. But with that one under its belt, I think maybe we'll get a better performance today. And in the third spot, we're going to go to the inside, Statehood, 10-1 morning line, who gets the same rider today, who's had a pretty decent year, and has an okay race over the track and may benefit from that one. 9-5-1 in the 9th at Sam Houston.
The finale today at Sam Houston is a maiden special weight event, 3-year-olds. Again, they're scheduled for the turf, this time 1 mile.
We are going to go 9-1-5 in this race. We have Felino on top. This first-time starter, don't know much about it, but you know, I really don't know what to say about this race. This is yet another inscrutable maiden special weight on the turf. We'll just take a flyer that this runner from Song and a Prayer will have a pretty good effort in the debut. In the second spot, we'll go to the inside with the 1, Bobbin at the Bar, who seemed to like to move the grass last time, was hung 3 wide in that one, and getting the inside post may put forth a better effort today. Third spot, Tullum, who tired on the chase in the last effort. I don't know. Once again, I had a lot of trouble with this race, and I'm not sure, wasn't sure what direction to go. It seemed like a lot of places you could go in this. This one lost 4 lengths in the stretch last time. Maybe we'll see better from this one today. 915 in the finale at Sam Houston.
All right, that puts Sam Houston in the books. We'll take another break. When we come back, I'll turn my attention to Turf Paradise for this Tuesday afternoon. Stay tuned.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Capital Bet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. Capital Bet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. Capital Bet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Handicappers Report. I'm Mike Jarbo of the Times-Union. I'm here with my colleague Seth Merrill of Equidaily. I just took a look at Sam Houston Park after making a quick switch due to a cancellation at Park's racetrack today, which they canceled because of extreme cold. So I don't think we're going to get extreme cold at Turf Paradise, which is where Seth is going to be.
I hope not.
Giving us some good information today. Okay, the opener at Turf Paradise, we're going to have quarter horses. And they are going, if I can read this, 330 yards, maiden special weight. Seth?
I have it 1, 2, 3, and 5. The number 1 is DeJuno. And it's, these are a little bit tough for me because I don't do these short races too often. And it's not only tough because I don't do them. It's tough just because a lot of it just depends on the break and the trip. I think all these are, it's just a lot of luck involved. So they don't attract me much as a betting proposition. But given that, when I'm jumping in, I tend to look for connections who are maybe a little bit of a higher percentage, and both the jockey and the trainer do pretty well. And this one's first career start showed a little bit of promise, certainly got off and was contending early, and that's what you want in these short races. So I'm going to put DeJuno on top. Number 2, Brookstone Gray in the second spot. Just seems to be in some pretty good form right now with a near-miss effort last time. And in the third spot, I like this name, Chicks Love Me. The number 3 horse. long-time maiden, 13 starts and hasn't been able to get it done yet. But I thought the last start showed a little bit of promise at what I think may be class-wise a similar level. So again, for me, these races are a little bit of a puzzle, but I have it 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Moving on to the second at nice warm Turf Paradise, which sounds like a great place to be right now. We had $3,000 claimers going a mile, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up.
5, 6, 4, and 7. The number 5 is Bears Tigerette. Oh, I should go back to yesterday, too, because yesterday in the Handicappers Report, I did focus on Turf Paradise. For me, it was a day that was kind of a push. I think it was 2 winners on top in 9 races. I called 3 plays of the day. 2 hit, 1 didn't, but the 2 that hit were very little value. So it was one of those days that, playing around with the picks, I was cashing some tickets and missing some. So it was one of those days that certainly wasn't a score. It was not a whiff. Like I say, it's just kind of a push of a day yesterday at Turf Paradise. We'll see if we can get a little bit more oomph today. 5, 6, 4, and 7 again in the second. The number 5 is Bears Tigerette. I just think this horse could be primed in the third start back. Laid off from May until earlier this month. Excuse me. And then we had a decent third off of the layoff. Second start back, stretched out to this mile distance. Again, an okay fourth. The buyer figure improved nicely. There's some back numbers there that I think if we get to, this horse is going to be very, very competitive in here. And I think in the third start, that's certainly a real possibility. So on top, Bears Tigerette. Again, hoping this one is primed in that third start back. Second spot, the number 6, J.J.'s Junction. Pretty solid off the last 2. And it may have even attracted enough attention for me to put this one on top, except the jockey is kind of cool at the meet. Only 1 win in 53 starts, according to the Racing Form stats, and a couple of seconds, couple of thirds. So, again, you're this deep into a meet, and you got a jockey or a trainer who's just not really knocking it out of the park. I can't get too excited. On the numbers, as I say, I probably would have moved this one up, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on the jockey. That said, the trainer on my top pick, also low percentage. So it was one of those where I was coin flipping a little bit. I wound up tilting in favor of number 5, 6 underneath. Third spot, the number 4, Lady Sasha. This is another one making the third start back off of a layoff. Nice improvement, start 1 to start 2. So pretty similar handicapping angle that I'm hanging my hat on with the top pick for the number 4, Lady Sasha. It just could be primed in this third start back. 5, 6, 4, and 7 in the second.
Moving on to the third race at Turf Paradise, we have maiden claimers going for $20,000 tag, 3-year-olds and up. They'll be going 6 furlongs.
7, 5, 6, and 3. The number 7, first-time starter. I got a couple of first-time starters at the top of the mix, and I'm going to jump in very lightly with a 4-horse exacta box in here, just because I think the first-time starters will offer a little bit of value. Comedy Tour on top. This one had a sibling called Raylene, 4th in the career debut, then 2nd next time out, and then won 3 straight over the entire career, 16 wins and 33 starts. So I think this horse has a little bit of interesting breeding. The trainer can have him ready first time out of the box. So, you're at this 20 level at Turf Paradise, first time starter. It's not quite the same as when you're at some of the bigger meets with the first time starters and potent outfits, but I think there's enough here that this horse becomes a little bit interesting. So I'll use Comedy Tour on top. Similar scenario with Kailua Bluff, the number 5 horse. First time starter that I think has a little bit of breeding punch. You got to go back a ways. But on November 26th, there was kind of a promising bullet workout of 34 and change. Since then, kind of a nice steady string of works. The trainer maybe doesn't knock it out of the park first time out of the box, but breeding-wise, the dam produced a sibling called Wowie Maui that took 3 starts to win, but subsequently, after that win, a second and a couple more wins. So in the first 6 starts, 3 wins. What did the sibling get? So again, I think on the bottom side, maybe a little bit of interesting precociousness. So I'll use the first 2 first-time starters and hope that they live up to the nature and nurture that I think they have, which isn't strong, isn't particularly potent, but it's just enough in this field that I think I'll take a little bit of a shot because I think we may get some odds. The number 6, Saturino in the third spot. This is a horse that I think will take some action off of the state-bred stakes races over the last 3 starts. Moves in for the tag today, so getting some class relief. Also going to throw the third one into my mix as well off of that start, 2 back with the 50 buyer figure. So again, I'm going to tread a little bit lightly, but look at the board, and if the 5 and the 7 do hold up odds-wise, being first-time starters, let's dip in with a little exacta box play of the day. 7, 5, 6, and 3.
Okay, in the fourth at Turf Paradise, we have fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going a mile in the dirt. These are $3,500 claimers, non-winners of 3.
I'm just going to parse this out. I'm going to go a little deep here with my numbers just because I have separated up the one entry a little bit. I have it 7, 1A, the 3 entry, the plain 1, and 6. And I go that deep just in case one of those ones doesn't get into the mix. But again, 7, 1A is the preferred half of that entry. 3 entry, the plain 1, and 6. The number 7 in here is Century Union. Just missed in a similar event last time, and I always like these types. When they run well and then come right back in essentially the same race, distance and class-wise, why not stick right with them? And I'll stick, and so will jockey Scott Stevens, who's riding so well down at this meet. So we'll look at this one to come right back in a similar race. 1A, Lookout County. Pretty solid non-winners, a 2 lifetime win last time, so moves up to the non-winners of 3. And sometimes it'll take them a start or so to kind of figure it out, and that's certainly a little bit of a concern here. But I think this one did it in a fashion last time, kind of a ding-dong battle with a decent number. I think Lookout County can make the move and be competitive in here. And then both halves of the 3 entry look kind of interesting. The plain 3, Proud Bach. I think this horse could be primed in the 3rd start at this non-winners of 3 level. And as I said earlier, sometimes these horses will break through levels, break the maiden, and then it'll take them 1 or 2 starts to kind of figure it out in the N2L. And then they break through that, and it's 1, 2, 3 starts just to get some education at that next level. And that looks like that might be the case with Proud Bach. So 3rd start at this N3L level, Proud Bach should be a contender. And then the entry mate, Helms Magic, moved in from California last time. Ran okay. I'm just looking at that as maybe some education over the track, and this horse will still maybe have a little bit of a class edge, having run up in Northern California. And last time, just got the footing on the track surface and should improve today. So again, I have it a little deep just because I have the 1 entry separated. 7, the 1A, the 3 entry, plain 1, and 6.
Okay, moving on to the 5th at Turf Paradise. It's hard to believe there's a place in America where there's actually grass right now, but we're going to be on the turf going about a mile, a $15,500 allowance for 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3.
5, 2, 1, and 8. The number 5 is The Obsession, who just seems to be in some good improving form right now. You look at the buyer figures over the last 3, that combines with the finishing position. This horse is moving in the right direction. Now, the question mark is, those last 3 were on the dirt. Moves to the grass, well, you just have to go down the past performances and look. This horse has run very well on the grass before. So this is one of those horses that the surface, pick either one, runs well on the main track or the grass. Good form, back to the grass, no problems there. The Obsession on top for me. 2nd spot, Amp and Adrenaline. This horse returns to the grass, and this one I think will appreciate the return. Was on the dirt last time and threw in a little bit of a dud, but the 3 starts before that on the grass, the numbers and the finishing positions very good. So I think this horse probably a little bit more turf meant or synthetic if you look earlier in the career. But I think this horse, again, will appreciate the return to the turf. 3rd spot, the number 1, Fast Track. Just finding a little bit easier company today. Moved in from Southern California last time and ran in that Fitzsimmons Stakes race down here a week and a half or so ago. Didn't show much that day, but again, that was a kind of an interesting field. You had a couple of live horses coming in from California, from Southern California, and so I think that was a little bit of a salty bunch. This one is probably a little more in the comfort zone for Fast Track. In the 5th today, 5, 2, 1, and 8.
And that'll take us up to a break. We will bring you some messages, and then Seth will be back with more of his handicapping from Turf Paradise. Please stay with us.
I'm Steve Bick.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB Television Network.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Handicappers Report. I'm Mike Jarbo from the Times-Union. I'm here with Seth Merrow of EquiDaily.com, and Seth is going over the card at Turf Paradise on this chilly Tuesday. Okay, we're up to the 6th at Turf Paradise. This is a maiden claiming event, 6 furlongs on the dirt. They'll be going for a $5,000 tag.
I have it 5, 4, 2, and 6. And, you know, I searched around. I looked at the 2 first-time starters in here because, you know, the 5, 9 tries so far, has not gotten it done. But you go back 3 starts, the last time at this 5,000 maiden level, just missed. The numbers are pretty good as compared to the rest of this field. I have to pull the trigger here on the number 5 double nickel. Even though this is the kind of scenario I don't like. You know, you have a race with some horses that have had some tries. I'm going with the horse that has the most experience and hasn't gotten it done. But as I say, I think this is right in the comfort zone. So I'll go with double nickel. Second spot, Erna Jillian, the number 4 horse. Moves back to State Bred Company after trying Open Company last time. Absolutely fizzled there. But again, I think this horse is another moving into the comfort zone, and also I think getting a very positive jockey switch in here. So Erna Jillian, I think, is going to be an absolute contender. Slooty Slew, the number 2 horse. I think this horse is absolutely also live in this State Bred 5,000 comfort zone, because last time out ran a big race, and a repeat of that puts this horse right in the hunt. And so we'll look for Slooty Slew in the 5th career start, maybe to be getting the light bulb turning on, and also finding the proper level over the last start and into this one. And as I noted, I looked at the first-time starters, just couldn't pull the trigger on the number 1 Super Serious, either on the breeding or the connections. This is the kind of race, though, it's not going to shock me if one of these first-time starters steps up. The one I would prefer, though, and I have right at the bottom of my mix, Uncle Ron, because I think, you know, there's maybe a little something there that you can take a look at as far as breeding and maybe the trainer. And more importantly, the workouts stood out to me a little bit if you go back to early in December. But that said, I couldn't pull the trigger because the dam produced a sibling called Little Blue Sky that took 7 starts to win, another sibling called Blue Sky Cat that took 5 to win. So it didn't seem like there was a lot of precociousness there. It seemed like this is the kind of family that maybe needs 3 or 4 starts to kind of figure it out. So again, it's a race where I would have liked to have gone for a more lightly raced horse, but I think 10th career start, Double Nickel may have just found the field that he'll be able to get it done again. So in the 6th, 5, 4, 2, and 6.
You have to love those light bulb moments. You know, you just have to love. I'm still waiting for mine. I'm sure it's coming any day now, I'm sure. Okay, the 7th at Turf Paradise, 5.5 furlongs, $13,000 allowance contest, non-winners of 2, 4-year-olds and up.
10, 8, 3, and 11. The number 10 is Ye Call Me Chief, who I'm just following Scott Stevens in here, and you never know for sure because there's all kinds of things that can go on behind the scenes. But the horse that was originally attracting some attention for me was Pentagram. Scott Stevens was on board that one in the last 2 starts. He winds up today on Ye Call Me Chief. So this is a horse with some nice early speed. This is a horse that Stevens has ridden a number of times in the past. This horse has shown some speed and just gotten caught late. It just has the feel to me of this horse maybe ready to pop today and hold that speed a little bit longer. Gets an outside post position, so it's kind of well placed with the speed. So we'll look for Scott Stevens to maybe nurse this one along and get the job done today on the front end all the way around. Second spot, Instinctively Bold, the number 8 horse. Just looking at this one off of the latest, which was certainly a very nice performance, a lifetime best buyer figure. So that may have been a light bulb moment for that one in the 10th career start. This horse broke the maiden early in the career. Started the career with a little bit of promise out in Southern California, but subsequently moved to more of these sea-level tracks and has shown a little bit of life. 10 career starts, only 1 win, but 7 times either second or third, and last time out was one of those nice second-place finishes. But again, the buyer figure last time says that this one, coming off what was a better part of a 2-month break, may have just come back as an improved and more mature horse. So Instinctively Bold, also interesting for me. And then, as I say, Pentagram was one I was taking a really close look at. Now, this is a horse that there are actually some Saratoga connections to. You look back earlier in the career, was racing on the NYRA circuit, including a race up here at Saratoga, broke the maiden back on September 27th down at Belmont Park, but then was returned to Saratoga in October. Why? The Darley folks sold the horse at the Saratoga Facing sale in October, and you can get that idea because it was a Tom Albatrani trainee, so I looked it up knowing that, and sure enough, this horse was in that October sale at Saratoga just a few months back. Sold that day for $25,000. Well, clearly Darley was kind of getting some room in the stables because they paid for this horse $750,000. They sold him for $25,000, but subsequently heads out to Turf Paradise, where he could be a little bit interesting out there. First start was in a little stakes race, ran 3rd. Last time out was up competing and ran 6th. And now I moved this horse over to the dirt today, and this horse just may be a little bit interesting with that background. Certainly there is some class there. Didn't quite live up to it on the New York circuit, but I just think this horse may be a little bit interesting. The 2 prior dirt tries weren't much, but they were at Aqueduct and Belmont. May find this Turf Paradise company a little bit easier. So Pentagram, to me, just kind of interesting to throw in the mix. We'll see what happens there. In the 7th today, 10, 8, 3, and 11.
Well, Seth, I have to take my deerstalker hat off to you on that. That was some pretty darn good sleuthing you did on that race.
I always like to, when I saw Albatrani, that caught my attention, but you always like to know a little bit of the backstory. When they pay $750,000 and all of a sudden they're out there at Turf Paradise, it's always a little bit of a head scratcher. I've said it before. They bought this horse for $750,000 at Facing Tipton, Saratoga in 2011. And I've said before, the big gambling, some big gambling goes on at the track. The much bigger gambling goes on down East Avenue at that Facing Tipton pavilion, as is shown here. $750,000, and a couple of years later, they're over at Turf Paradise.
I've heard they don't take nickel bets down there at Facing Tipton, do they?
Nah, they don't take my money, I know that.
Okay, moving on to the 8th race, we have, we're on the turf, 7.5 furlongs. We have the very interesting condition of maiden optional claimers. These are going for $30,000, I guess, on the optional tag. That's pretty high rent for this track, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes it kind of a fun little race.
Sure does.
And I'm going to give some deeper numbers here too, like I did in an earlier race, because in this race my top two are AEs, also eligible, so I don't know whether they'll get in. But if so, I have it 11, 12. If they don't, then I have it 2, 7, 1, and 4. The number 11, Afsana, out in the 11 hole. This is a Darley runner showing up at Turf Paradise. Comes in for Owen Hardy. Has made the first couple of career starts, Santa Anita and Hollywood Park. Showed a little bit of oomph in both of those races, but I think is going to find that significant venue class relief over here at Turf Paradise today. So let's hope Afsana gets in. Number 12, Drink M Pretty, also comes in from California, also could be finding some class relief, also needs some scratches in the body of the field to get into the event. If they don't get it in, Papa's Flashy Girl is interesting to me. This horse, another one of those Southern California shippers that I think is going to be finding some venue class relief with the move to Turf Paradise from Santa Anita and Hollywood Park. Also, first-time starter Memo from Pat is kind of interesting. The workouts were interesting to me. The trainer is very good first time out of the box with limited stats, but the dam produced a sibling called Memo Star that was 0 for 11 in the career. That was the only sibling she's produced. So not a lot of information there. The information we do have, though, does not necessarily say precociousness. Another first-time starter that I have in the mix, potentially, if the AEs don't get in, is Perfect Paradise. That one has a sibling called Running for Jacob that took 8 starts to win. Another sibling, a full sibling, called Jacob's Magic, 12th in the career debut, but subsequently 2, 3, second, third, fourth, third, and then 1. There's a little bit of precociousness there, so Perfect Paradise could be one to take maybe a look at first time out of the box. So as I say, I'm out with the AEs. If they get in, I've got the 11 and 12. I'll go another 4 deep after that, though, just in case they don't get in. So it's 11, 12, 2, 7, 1, and 4.
Okay, moving to the finale at Turf Paradise today. We're going 6.5 furlongs for the much more comfortable $3,500 claiming tag. Non-winners of 3 and a string of other conditions that I don't want to go through. Seth, what do you see?
7, 1, 3, and 5. The number 7 is Wild Wings. It's one of those races where you're just kind of searching around a little bit, and this one, to me, has maybe a little bit of a numbers edge, a slight numbers edge, but that might be mitigated by the fact that the trainer only 2 for 2013, 0 for this meet, but only a couple of starters. So I said it earlier, I don't like jumping on connections that are cool, but this one on the numbers, I think, as I say, just maybe has an edge on this bunch. Some trepidation, though. Second spot, the number 1, Tally Stick. This is a horse that, since moving to this 35 level, actually has bounced in and around this, but moved back to it a couple of starts back and ran a nice start last time. That was at a mile. I think the cutback could be interesting today, but this one has a jockey that is low percentage. The jockey, in fact, that I mentioned earlier is the low percentage jockey. 1 win, 53 starts, only 2% at the meet. So that's why I wound up on a low percentage connection horse on top. I wasn't finding a lot underneath as well. And then Time on Your Hands in the third spot, the number 3 horse. I'm going back to the starts 2 and 3 back. First off the claim, this trainer is not necessarily knocking it out of the park with those stats, but if we can get back to the numbers 2 and 3 starts back, I think this horse could be a little bit of a contender in here as well. It's a dicey proposition in this 9th race. It's a cheap race with nobody that really jumps off the page, but I wound up 7, 1, 3, and 5, all of which brings us to the end of the Tuesday edition of the Handicappers Report. We took a look at Turf Paradise and shifted our attention to Sam Houston because Mike was originally going to look at Parks. They've canceled this afternoon. Beulah has canceled. Monticello has canceled. And tonight, Northfield. The cold weather is affecting a few tracks. But on the network today, Sam Houston, Louisiana Downs, Turf Paradise, Sunland Park, Western Fair, Dover Downs, and Yonkers Raceway. So a limited schedule, but still enough action that
Plenty
folks
of
can have
action
some
there.
fun and make a little bit
yeah,
of money.
looks like
No
lots of
question
fun,
about
sure.
it. And as noted, we're going to wrap things up for the Handicappers Report for this morning. Seth Merrill, Equidaily.com. Mike Jarbo from the Times Union.
The Weather King.
Yeah, as noted, we did not allow Mike to speak at all about the Super Bowl today. We don't want the weather jinx going on. As I said at the top of the show, they're having enough trouble down. I think they're sitting on the edge of their seat already down there. We don't want to put them over the edge. All right, that will wrap things up. Don't forget, I will remind you one more time, amateur boxing tonight down here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Walked out as I came in this morning, and the ring's all set up, the chairs. Every seat is a great seat. You're right up in and amongst the action. Reviews of the past few months of amateur boxing down here have been very good. So if you're a boxing fan, about 7 o'clock tonight, things will kick off. 711 Central Avenue in Albany, Clubhouse Racebook, amateur boxing tonight. All right, that wraps up the Handicappers Report. Coming up next, Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.